crying, just wondering why she's not texting me back. Is she going to disown me? Is she processing this?
What's going on, everybody? My name is Courtney-Jai. Welcome back to my channel. It is very nice to have you here. Now today I have a guest with me and his name is
Joey. That's me.
Looking in my hand.
Look, give me something.
I thought this would be a special video for you guys, as I know that a lot of the viewers here are gay and bisexual, and Joey is a gay man, and he came out how long ago?
I think I came out periodically, I think. I was probably about 12, 13 when I realised I was gay, and I think I officially came out to everyone by the age of about 18. But I think I came out to my close friends first when I was probably 12, 13 years old, when I started realising. And then once my close friends knew, the family always come last. I think you probably say the ones that you're scared of the most.
The ones that you care most about their opinion.
Yeah.
That's always the thing what you fear most, basically, because you just don't want it to go wrong.
Yeah, 100%. So I think it was about 17, 18 years old when I had my first full-time job that I came out to my dad on the way to work one day, and no, I think it was on the way home from work, because I remember I was crying at the end of my shift and knowing that I was going to tell my dad that day, and I was so nervous and I didn't have a clue what he was going to say, and it was really, really scary. So yeah, I think I was about 18 by the time I came out to everyone.
So 18, it's pretty young in the grand scale of things. I know a lot of my viewers they're ranging all different age groups, and some of them starting to come out, they're a lot older. But you can come out at any time. It's all about your own journey, really. It's all about when you feel ready.
Yeah, I think that's important though, isn't it? No one should be forced out, I don't think. There's got to be a time where you feel most comfortable to come out.
So coming out to your dad he has a military background.
Yeah, 20 years in the army.
Yeah.
Spent some time out in Ireland during the IRA bombings and things, so it's pretty rough and tough guy.
Yeah.
To be fair,
he's a lovely guy. He's not like all gruff, but there is that stigma when it comes to military men or kind of that macho-esque man.
Yeah, 100%. So in the military, 80s, 90s, it's very much don't ask, don't tell. So they're, as you say, they're all macho guys. So he'd never really been exposed to gay people. The only experience he had or understanding or perception of it was what he saw on TV, which can be obviously quite an extreme version of...
It can almost be damning sometimes.
Yeah. And I think he had seen very camp people portrayed on TV, which obviously some people are, and that's fair enough, but I'm personally not like that. But his perception was, sometimes not over the top, it's probably not the right word to use, but quite extreme feminine men, and his perception was it's something that was alien to him. He hadn't experienced it, so it wasn't necessarily threatened, but it was more a case of he just didn't understand it. So I think that was potentially the hardest part for him when I did come out to him, was the thought of, am I going to slowly or quickly turn into something like that, or change just in any way?
Yeah. There's always that like thing. Is like I know when I came out to my dad, he was very like scared of me changing who I am, and for a lot of us, we stay the same. Right? We're obviously who we are. Some of us do, like we start to like kind of almost drip feed into that femininity and start releasing our feminine side.
Yeah, I think it's important to be yourself and not suppress any part of yourself. If you are feminine by nature, or if you have, if you enjoy makeup, and there's a lot of that in the gay community, and leaning towards or playing with your gender or certain identity elements, I guess, then you should definitely express that, and you shouldn't feel like you are restricted because you don't want to be perceived a certain way. I think it's important that you are yourself. But also, you don't have to feel like there's nothing wrong with you if you don't associate or you don't feel like that's you. If you're not into makeup, you might not be that feminine. I think that's where I found I was a bit alien in the LGBT community, is that I was So I'm not a macho guy, really not. I don't like sports.
But you're not ultra like feminine.
No, I'm not. And so I felt a little bit outside of that because I was like, hold on a second. And it's like the Macklemore song where he said, I thought that I was gay because my uncle was, and I played Little League, and he goes through a bunch of stereotypes that he thought then added up to being gay. But I've always lived my life as being gay is a sexuality, not a personality. So I think it shouldn't define you. I think you should be proud of who you are, but I think it shouldn't necessarily be your personality per se. I mean, as I say, nothing wrong with being feminine. You should always be yourself. But it wasn't me, and so I do feel like I had that disconnect from the community because I wasn't represented on TV so much, because as my dad had been exposed to, a lot of the representation on TV was really feminist portrayals, or really feminine portrayals, sorry, I should say. So I think that's where I struggled personally for now.
Now, saying that, is there any person out there who you've idolised who is less towards the feminine side? Because I know a lot of gay guys are probably looking for their idol, looking for someone that can kind of give them that confidence, that boost to go, they're cool, I like the way they are, I want to be like that, I want to be more respectful and more appreciative of myself by looking to other people out there. Like, is there any celebrities who you look up to?
That's a really good question, and I think there wasn't. I don't think there were as many celebrities, openly gay celebrities, other than the feminine, mannerismed celebrities that are as around today. For example, Matt Bomber, I don't know when he came out, but he's obviously a very attractive man, very straight acting, I guess you could say, or a bit of a macho guy.
Mask.
Yeah. So he's something, I don't necessarily look up to him. He's a fantastic actor, but I think from a looks perspective, and
is he the one who's in Magic Mike?
He is, yeah. So he's got a gorgeous body. So yeah, I feel like probably him. He comes to mind. Or Tom Daley wasn't so much when I was younger because he's got quite a feminine voice. So I felt like maybe, but I mean, from an athletic standpoint, he's very athletically built, obviously, and I think that's quite nice to see represented as opposed to the other body types that are probably more associated. So. Yeah, I think those two would be my top picks.
So when you came out, or just before you came out, what made you accept yourself being gay?
That's a really hard question. I think, and this is probably quite a strange analogy to use, I think you always know, but it's like I'm not so much anymore, but I used to be a really bright redhead. And it's kind of like I'd lived my whole life not even knowing that my hair was bright red, and then suddenly waking up one day and going, oh crap, like looked in the mirror and saw my bright ginger hair. It was something that was so obvious and so there, and I knew it all the time, but I just not necessarily ignored, but I didn't understand. So I think one day it just clicked, and I was like, oh crap, I have feelings towards guys, and I had girlfriends in primary school, and just hanging out with male friends, I think quickly I realised that I just preferred, or had more affection towards them.
Was it more like transitional, or was it just like almost an immediate effect? Like almost like someone just slapped you and you've gone, oh my gosh.
Yeah, well, as I say, I think I always kind of knew. I always had a thought in the back of my mind, and I was concerned. But then as I started to come to terms with it, I kind of clicked and I went, and I can't remember the point where it was, but I just remember, I think I just, maybe when I was going through puberty, I sort of fancied a guy, and I realised, actually no, I don't just really want to hang out with this person and be their friend. I actually want to get to know this person romantically, and I think that's when I was like, wow, I think I'm gay. So, but it was a real struggle, definitely, just coming to terms with it, and I think I probably cried myself to sleep when I was a kid plenty of times, just thinking, why me? Like, why have I got to be different?
Yeah, I understand that completely. So Joey, if you could go back and decide how you'd want to come out, because obviously in the moment it's very hard sometimes to come out in front of someone, talk to someone directly, you've lost for words, you don't know what to say. If you could go back in any method you'd like, how would you want to tell people?
Yeah, I came out to a lot of the people in my life various different ways. I texted a couple of my relatives. I came out to a few of my friends on Xbox Live, get them in a party chat, have a quick chat with them, and you could, you know, try and be as nonchalant about it and be like, listen, you know. But I came out to a couple of people in person. I'd always say do what feels most comfortable to you. If I was going to go back, I'd probably speak to more people face to face.
Yeah.
I think I came out to my mum over text message at 2 o'clock in the morning, and she didn't see the text message till about 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. So I had to wait all night, writhing and raving in pain, crying, and just wondering why she's not texting me back. Is she going to disown me? Is she processing this? And in truth, she just hadn't seen it. So I'd always say try and control it as much as you want, and just do it in a way that you feel comfortable. But I'd also say if I was going to go back, I'd tell more people in person so that I can. I don't know, I just feel like it's something that's best relayed in person just because you can see the emotion on their face, and I think it's important. It's an important part of your life, and it's quite nice to have that experience in person as opposed to just waiting for their written response or them to call you. So that's probably how I'd go back and change things.
Fair enough, sounds perfectly reasonable. And finally, Joey, because this is the scary part. This is what everyone doesn't like, and that is the reaction you're going to get. That's the bit that like basically stops all of us from coming out, is how people are going to react. What were your reactions like?
Yeah, good question. So I don't think I genuinely had one person that was close to me, or even just a mutual acquaintance when I did come out, that had a problem with it. I think the hardest, or the person who took it the hardest, would be my dad. As we mentioned earlier, you know, military background, and his reaction was obviously quite stunned. He wanted to process it. He didn't really understand what I was explaining to him, and so I think his and I'll never forget this. His phrase was, "Oh, well, it is what it is," and it was virtually in that tone. And I remember being so hurt by that because I'd seen so many videos of people saying, "Oh, I love you for who you are," you know, all these heartfelt messages back.
But this is one of those things where I always think that you also have to consider who you come out to. It's a lot to process. They have to have time. You have to sometimes give them that time, because it can take days, hours, weeks, months for them to conclude themselves to that, you know, you're still the person that they've always loved.
Yeah, 100%. I think my dad, he wasn't really comfortable with it. He didn't really want to talk about it or anything after the fact. I asked him if he had any questions, and he just said it is what it is, and just kept saying that, and he would always kind of steer away from the subject. And as I say, I think his fear was that I was going to change the person, and over probably the course of a year, and he saw that I hadn't changed. The only difference about me, well, there was nothing different, that's the truth. I was gay before, I was gay after, but the only thing that changed, as far as he was aware of, was the fact that I now liked guys, or I've always liked guys, which is not really, to be fair, part of anything to do with him.
No.
It's my romantic life, it's my you know, your sex life, and it's nothing to do with your parents in truth. And I think now that I've been in a long-term committed relationship, and he knows now what it's about, he understands it, he's fantastic with it, and he was the one who took it the hardest and had the most problem with it.
Well, would you say, like, because with my dad, obviously my dad took it pretty hard as well.
Yeah.
He said he felt like he failed as a father. And then eventually he came to the point where, like, he apologised, and he said he was so proud of me. And they kind of do like a complete U-turn. They go from being like so confused about it to almost being like so proud of it, and like it's almost like they reinforce you with it.
I mean, my dad, he's not really proud of it. I think he's got the perfect reaction for me, or what I would prefer, which is just, you know, it's just part of me, but it's not all of me. So he respects it. He respects my partner Nathan and our relationship, and in the way that he shows me how he respects it and understands it now is that he treats me the same as my sister's partners and their relationships, and there's no differences in the way that he looks at us and speaks to us. And I think that's really important, is the actions speak louder than the words. And my dad is a man of few words, and you might find that when you come out to your family or friends that they don't have a lot to say back to you, and that can be quite scary because you're wondering of what the repercussions are going to be or what they're thinking. I actually, when I came out to my friend Jordan, he was just like, it's whatever, like, you know, I don't mind, okay, like, what's he got to do with me? And I was upset because it was so anticlimactic. I built up my best friend, you know, I really wanted to let him in on a piece of my life and something that I've been really struggling with, and he was like, whatever. And that is a good reaction to have, because he didn't see the difference, he didn't treat me any differently, he still respected me and loved me like a brother, and that is important. But I think when you build it up to be something so
dramatic, and when it
deflates
like that, it's just like,
you feel like your world is going to crumble, and that's terrifying. And then to have someone just go like, whatever, you feel a little bit robbed of, you know, you see, so as I said before, you see all these videos of these families that are like crying and hugging each other, saying, I always knew, or I love you, I still love you, or I still treat, and I had none of that in my life. Everyone was just so okay with it that it was just like saying, I'm Ginger, you know, like, oh, Courtney, I'm Ginger, and you going, yeah, okay,
yeah, that's cool, man.
That's whatever. It doesn't change you as a person. I think it's important that you judge everyone's actions or responses fairly, and you try not to look at that through your emotion at the time, and not be upset with their reaction, because some people can have a gut reaction to the news and be quite threatened by it, or don't understand it, and they can react in the wrong way that they don't really mean, and it can take time. So I think it's important that you give the people, you let them be upset or confused or however they are going to feel, and over time all you can do is hope that they eventually understand how you feel and understand your life more, and maybe that will end up with you all being closer in the future.
That's really nice.
Thanks.
That's a really beautiful sentiment. Well guys, I hope you did like that video. The next video is going to be with Joey's partner Nathan, who's really lovely, and he's a little bit shy and he looks like Clark Kent, so you're going to love him. If you did like this video, please give it a massive thumbs up because it helps me out a lot. How many thumbs should I aim for?
I don't know, you've got like a lot of subscribers now, haven't you? How many do you normally get?
Like 150.
Like 175.
There you go.
Hey.
Anyway, I'm going to say love,
peace.
hey,
I remember it.
chicken grease. I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.
So